You moved here when you were 3 to Loyalton.
Yes.
You've spent your whole life here.
Yes.
And worked here, too.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it was 30, you were telling me, 34 years you worked for the city of Loyalton. Which do you think I should, when I do the story, should I say the 29 and a half on the pension or 34?
Well, it was a total of 34.
Yeah, so why don't we say the total?
Okay, 34.
34 years. When you were working for the city, did you ever wonder about your retirement or your pension?
No. I thought it was going to be there.
I mean, that's the promise that taxpayers and city politicians and governments make with their employees, isn't it?
Yes.
That essentially what?
Mm-hmm.
What is that promise, in your words?
That when I retire, I will have my pension.
And it wasn't a whole lot. I mean, the pension was essentially, $3,900 a month. You were looking at $48,000 a year.
Yes.
That's it's good, but you're not a Rockefeller.
No, I'm not rich.
Yeah. Can you put your glasses on for me?
Yes.
I want you to read a letter that you got from CalPers, the California Public Employees Retirement System, on December 2nd, 2016. That second paragraph and the first sentence in the third paragraph.
As a result of the city's default of its obligations, your retirement benefit related to this service occurred with the city of Loyalton will be reduced effective with your January 1st, 2017 dated warrant. This adjustment will reduce both your City of Loyalton base option 1 allowance and cost of living adjustment by 60%.
When you got this letter, what did you think? How did you react?
I was really upset.
I can imagine.
Yes.
I mean, what went through your mind?
How am I going to make it now? What am I going to do?
I had you read that letter because I was thinking, how do I begin this story? And I imagine this is the kind of letter that any retiree would dread getting.
Yes.
When you share the story of what's happened to you with people, what do they say?
It's just scary that they can do this. Just all of a sudden take away your welfare.
Well, it's not your welfare. You earned this. This was your pension.
Yeah, but they took away my pension.
Yeah. And I realize you mean welfare in the sense of
Yes.
your well-being.
Yes.
Public employees work and earn the pension benefit when they retire. And yours is going to be cut 60%.
Yes.
What do you do? I can't imagine many people who could face that.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't.
Who do you hold responsible for this, CalPers or the city?
Well, I hold both of them responsible, but I hold the city more responsible because they started it.
If they started it when they said, we're just not going to make the payments anymore,
Yes.
we're going to default. And there's a question as to, we'll address that with the mayor, but there's a question as to whether they really needed to take that action.
Yes, there is.
But what about CalPers, though? I mean, do you let them off the hook?
No, I don't let them off the hook because I thought they would put us in a slush fund or take care of us.
An insurance of some kind.
And go after the city.
Well, if the city is in default, what should CalPers do? Should they sue the city?
I think they should take action against the city, yes.
CalPers says not their job, not their responsibility, that this is totally the blame and responsibility of the city of Loyalton. What would you say to the people from CalPers if you could speak to the board?
I don't know. That I think they should back us because we were part of CalPers. And I think they should protect us.
The city, I mean, you worked in the finance department of the city. You kind of did the books for several years. They never had a problem making the payments.
No, not at all. And they didn't have a problem after I left making the payments. Just all of a sudden they had a problem.
And they were making payments that CalPers told them to make.
Yes.
So then the city defaults, and CalPers says, well, either give us $1.6 million or we cut the pensions of those 4 employees.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound right.
No, it doesn't. I think the way the city did it is why they were stuck with that 1.6 million. I think they didn't work with CalPers.
CalPers says that $1.6 million bill reflects the obligation, if they were to pay you the full pension, going forward for all four of you for several years. Shouldn't they have charged the city more so that in case a city were to go into default, people like you wouldn't be left on the hook?
Maybe. I don't know.
What I'm saying
You
is,
mean
shouldn't
charge them more
when
per
the
month?
city, yeah, charge every city in the CalPERS system more per month to make sure if a city says we're not paying anymore, that you don't have an outcome like what's happened to you.
Yes, that would probably be the best way to go.
CalPERS says it would be too expensive to do that
Why would it be too expensive?
because cities would have to raise taxes to cover those bills. Do you believe CalPERS?
No.
Why not?
I just think they're setting an example out of the four of us. I really do. I think we're just the ones that are going to pay for this.
An example for all of California.
Yes, for all the retirees.
You're the first four people in the entire history of CalPERS, 85 years old, that system, to ever have a pension cut. That sends a message, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
What do you think the message is that CalPERS is sending to 1.8 million other people?
That they better be careful. It could happen to any of them. But I don't think they should have set an example for four people from a little tiny town. And we didn't make six-figure salaries. You know, we just, it wasn't like it was LA or New York or...
Do you recall what your annual income was when you worked for the city?
No. Maybe, I don't know, 40,000, 50,000?
Okay.
It's been too long.
But it does sound like they're trying to set an example.
Yes, I think they are.
And they say the system, CalPERS says they're in no danger, they're healthy.
Yeah, I know.
You believe them?
Yes, I believe them. I think they are healthy. I think they could have put us in a slush fund and kept us going.
Would that be fair, though, to the other cities that fund their retirements to have to pay for a city like Loyalton when it says we're going to default?
I don't know.
I know these are... Let me ask you this. We approach the story from the standpoint of this could happen to anybody because it's really you're at the whim of your city government.
Yes.
CalPERS doesn't control what Loyalton City Council decides or what Stockton decides or what San Bernardino decides. They don't. It's the politicians on those city governments at that time which decide.
At that time, and they change every 4 years. So people should be afraid.
One of the things that people who are critical of both CalPERS and the system in California point out is that cities, whether it be Loyalton, which made its payments, or Stockton, which is current on its payments, that the payments are artificially low to protect politicians from having to explain to their citizens, we need to raise taxes or we need to cut services to meet these obligations. What do you think?
Maybe that's why they're too low. I really don't know. I didn't really think they were that low.
But and Loyalton, like every other city, was paying what CalPERS said you should pay.
Yes. We paid the monthly bill that was sent to us.
When you heard that it was a $1.6 million bill for you to keep your pension and the other three people to keep their pensions, a $1.6 million bill to Loyalton from CalPERS, what did you think?
I thought, they're not going to pay it. There's no way the city could pay that. I know that.
I mean, this
But
isn't
I just thought it was really high.
It sounds exorbitant, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And especially for a city this size. It's a lot of money.
If you were, talking to senior citizens, people approaching retirement or in retirement in California, what would you tell them?
Just make sure that your retirement is there, that it can't be cut. I never dreamed this could happen to me. Never thought it would happen. I thought my retirement was there till I was gone.
That was the promise.
It was the promise. And then someone took it away.
You know, at the end of the day, does it matter if it's CalPers' fault or Loyalton's fault?
No.
The promise was broken.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It happened.
Do you think this will happen to other people in California?
I think it could happen to other people in California. I think other cities might do the same thing.
What is the most important thing you want people to know?
That someone can do this to you without you having any, we didn't have any knowledge or anything of this. I mean, it just happened. It happened in September. We were notified in September. And every month we've been living wondering whether we're going to get our money. Nobody's ever told us anything until just last week. And I think people should really be prepared.
You have good spirits about this. You know, I don't think I'd be.
Not really.
No? It's the TV camera makes you nervous?
It's just that I can't do anything about it. You know, we try. We're getting it out there for other people to see and to know about. I don't really have good spirits about it.
You have my word. The whole nation will know about it.
Thank you. We want the whole nation to know about it.
Well, because it's not just California where these things could happen. We saw this happen in a little town in Rhode Island many years ago, but because the laws are different from state to state and city to city. But it's not just you, and you're not alone in this. But I don't think that helps.
No, it doesn't help. It's hard being at the mercy of 5 people when they can determine your well-being.
And those 5 people are the city council.
Yes, those 5 people are the city council.
Thank you for joining us. At this point, you're going to look at me and keep talking, but Elka's going to ask a question or two.
Okay.
So respond to me.
All right.
Have you ever addressed the city council on this? Because I know they were going to promise you to make the difference or something. Have you talked to them?
In September when we got the letter, we attended the city council meeting, and I asked them why they did this. And that they, you know, I really felt bad that they did this to me because I went back and helped them, and they told me that I wasn't going to lose my money until they went bankrupt. That I would continue getting my money till I went bankrupt. And then we met at a city council meeting, I think it was last month. They had a meeting with us, and they want to pay our 60%. But we wanted proof of where the money's coming from and that the money's going to be there. And so far, they haven't given us that.
Do you think they're going to make it, or is there any way they can make it? What do you get your revenue from here?
I don't know. I know they're having financial difficulty right now. For some reason, they've done a lot of spending, but and I know they're talking about raising the water and sewer bills again that they lowered in 2013. But so far, I don't know. We haven't got any proof. We want something that they can't take away from us in a couple of years.
Okay.
And then, one last question. How does your lifestyle, how would it change, you know, with this cut?
Yeah.
Like, have you thought about the bills you can, or what changes?
Well, everything would change. I mean, it would be hard to live every month on a cut like that.
But you're going to have to.
Yeah.
Do you own the house? Is it your house?
Yes.
That's fortunate. That's a good thing.
But it would be difficult to live without it.
Is it just food, bills, everything?
Yeah, and everything keeps going up. You know that. It's expensive to live. Just monthly bills are expensive.